Hello and welcome to Tech 24. On the show this week, we'll be speaking to the co-founder of the Center for Humane Technology. Former Googler Tristan Harris wants Silicon Valley to start having a conscience. And we will be testing the Mara phone. It's the first smartphone made entirely on the African continent. We begin with a technology that's highly controversial. Facial recognition may be the way of the future, but it's got privacy advocates up in arms. A school district in New York plans to roll out the technology, with teachers saying it'll be a colossal waste of money. But not everyone's jumping on board. San Francisco has banned the use of facial recognition software, a move hailed by civil rights advocates. Claire Rush reports.
Banning facial recognition software in the tech capital of the U.S. The San Francisco ordinance prohibits all city agencies, including police, from using the technology.
It's psychologically unhealthy when people know they're being watched in every aspect of the public realm. There are many ways to make our society secure without living in a security state. And we have very good policing, but we don't want to live in a police state.
Facial recognition technology is controversial, but increasingly common. It's used by corporate tech giants like Apple and Facebook to unlock iPhones or tag people in photos. It's also used by some police departments to identify suspects by comparing images of people's faces to pictures in government databases like mugshots. The San Francisco Police Department has opposed the ban. It said it doesn't currently use facial recognition, but that it may be a useful tool in the future. But privacy advocates say the technology can be flawed and inaccurate.
Last summer, the ACLU scanned the faces of Congress against some mugshot databases, and Amazon's facial recognition service produced 28 false matches. Of those false matches, a significant amount were people of color.
Despite the technology's flaws, some countries have rushed to use it. China has built a vast system of facial recognition based on its network of surveillance cameras. According to the New York Times, Beijing uses facial recognition in part to track its Uyghur Muslim minority. It's believed to be the first known example of a government intentionally using the technology for racial profiling.
To talk more about facial recognition, we can bring in our expert, Dhananjay Kadilkar. Dan, there's no denying that facial recognition technology is a milestone, but it can also turn faces in photos and paintings into talking heads. How can it do this?
Well, yes, researchers from Samsung's AI Center in Moscow have used machine learning in order to bring faces in photos and paintings to life. They do this by using artificial intelligence networks. Now, these networks are trained with thousands of videos in order to make them learn how human faces move. And then by using a scanner, the source video, so for example, we have a video of a talking head, those videos are scanned, the facial landmarks are determined, and then those facial landmarks are applied onto the target face. Here we have Mona Lisa. And once this application is done, you can turn a still image, a single photo, into a talking head, as we see here. So there are 3 different videos that were applied to the Mona Lisa image, and you have 3 different videos of Mona Lisa.
It's fascinating. Thank you very much, Dan. Now, we can't talk about technology without talking about our relationship with our smartphones. Unlike drugs or alcohol, our phones aren't an addictive substance, but they alter how we interact with each other and even with ourselves. Tristan Harris used to work at Google, where he realized the negative impacts of attention-grabbing business models. Last year, he co-founded the Center for Humane Technology, and we can go across to San Francisco and speak to him now. Tristan, why are we, and I'm talking about adults, teenagers, and children, so susceptible to smartphone addiction?
Well, because it's not just about addiction. It's about a whole interconnected set of harms. If you think about shortening attention spans, downgrading civility and decency, mental health, social isolation, addiction, polarization, outragification, these are all subproducts of a race to extract human attention. Because if you think about it, all these technology companies are trapped in a race to the bottom of the brainstem, to crawl down the brainstem and get deeper into you, to extract and scoop out human attention, because that's the business model. And that means that's why we feel it as addiction. But talking about it as addiction is like talking about climate change as just coral reefs, right? So we have this problem where all these companies are caught in a race to get human attention, and it's externalizing harm that reinforces each other. The more outraged people are, the more polarized they are, the more isolated they are, the more vulnerable to conspiracy theories and extremism. And the technology is tilting the whole world in this more extreme making direction, which is really an existential threat that we call human downgrading, which is like the climate change of culture.
Now, you want to see technology realigned with humanity. How would that work exactly?
So the first step is we have to move from an extractive to a regenerative attention economy. So if you think about it, right now, technology treats humans as resources, resources for our data, resources for our attention, in the same way that we've domesticated cows to be the best for producing milk and their meat, and we don't really care about the cow. Technology is domesticating humans to be perfect for scooping out all that attention to get it out of us. So to fix this problem, we have to move from an extractive attention economy that treats humans as resources to a regenerative attention economy that's not coupling profit with how much attention they get from us. So if you think about, Lyft and Uber, the services that get you out in the world, their business model isn't to keep you fiddling with Lyft and Uber. Their business model is to be helping you get to where you want to go. And right now, technology is kind of like a GPS for your car, but its whole purpose is to suck you in and then never take you to where you want to go. So we need to move to a world where technology acts more like a GPS for our values that helps us navigate life, and the purpose is not to suck us into the screen.
I understand that you want companies to go to a regenerative attention economy, but what's in it for them? Because they're thinking about their bottom line and not the greater good.
Yeah, so this is where a company like Apple is in the best position to make a change like this, because Apple's business model is not directly coupled. You can't ask Exxon to stop using fossil fuels, even though it's causing climate change and is threatening all of us. You can't ask YouTube to stop trying to maximize how much attention they want to scoop out of our brains and tilt the world towards conspiracy theories, because that's their business model. So you have to go up a layer. If you think about who's the government, there's the regular government we should ask for policy that helps move from extractive to regenerative. And then there's also Apple is kind of like the government of the attention economy, because in the way that they make iPhones and the way that Google makes Android, they could change the dynamics so people aren't competing for attention. But to do that, we have to get clear on the cost, that free is the most expensive business model we've ever created, because it's actually causing this havoc in society. Why does it feel like everywhere around the world, people are going crazy at the same time? Everyone is outraged. Everyone's believing in more conspiracy theories. People are stopping to vaccinate their children. This is actually in part because technology is trying to amplify these things. Because of the free business model, it wants to figure out what's good at keeping your attention, and algorithmic extremism is the best way of keeping your attention. So not because any one of these companies wants that to happen, but that's because what the technology does.
Tristan, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. It's time now for Test 24. And this week we're testing the first smartphone manufactured entirely in Africa. What are its features, Dhananjay?
Well, yes, the phone I have is the Mara Z. It's made by the company Mara Phone. Now, it has a 5.7-inch HD display. The outer screen is made of Gorilla Glass, so it can withstand some hard knocks. It has two cameras, both are of 13 megapixels. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, an octa-core processor. Then it's pretty sleek, as you can see. It also runs the Android One operating system. It has other features like it has a Dolby sound system.
Really?
So yeah, all this combined, it comes at a very reasonable price, only $219. So yes, it's an interesting phone, and the other phone is Mara X. It has a 5.5-inch display and it runs the Android Oreo operating system.
And how's the battery life?
Well, yes, interestingly, it also comes with a turbocharger. So if you need to charge your phone very quickly, you'll be able to do about 60% or charge 60% of the battery in 30 minutes. So it has a 3,000 milliampere hour battery, so it should last on its own for a day and a half.
Not bad. Thank you very much for that, Dhananjay. And that's it for this week of Tech 24. Thank you very much for watching.